President Marcos makes it a point in his overseas trips to promote the Maharlika Fund before business leaders. How should investors view the country's first ever sovereign wealth fund? Asian Consulting Group's Mon Abrea joins us now for his views. Mon, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, there is a lot of hope regarding this Maharlika Investment Fund. But of course, after it was signed into law, the president basically tweaked and changed the implementing rules and regulations. Will the public be more skeptical about transparency and accountability with these changes?
Well, the change is simply on the qualifications of the officers and the composition and responsibilities of the Audit and Risk Management Committee. If you compare the original IRR with the final version, the revised version, you can see that it seems there was an accommodation in terms of how the person who the president would want to be appointed will fit in the position, considering that one of the penalties is assuming a post when you're not qualified.
Okay, you have Rafael Joel Consing as the president and CEO of the Maharlika Investment Corporation, managing risk, financial performance, human resources, accounting, legal affairs. This is really a tough job for Joel coming into this position.
Well, he definitely has an extensive experience with Stanford leadership program training, but the original version requires an advanced studies, master's or CPA, CFA, which I think is the reason why it was deleted. So because he is already being eyed to be the CEO. But of course, we have hopes that he will definitely give some light and clarity on the direction of the Maharlika Investment Fund.
All right, you already have him as the president and CEO. How difficult will it be now to fill up the remaining positions of independent directors, board directors, and the other positions that will also require talented and skilled financial individuals to fill up those spots?
Well, given the ongoing global economic crisis, it will really be tough, considering that, again, I would repeat, we don't have a sovereign fund. It's an investment fund, and mostly with a high exposure given our national debt. So it will really be challenging for those who will be part of the Maharlika Investment Corporation to make sure that that promised 8.6 return will really be realized.
And of course, a lot of investors and experts are skeptical that this investment fund, Mon, could become a vehicle for corruption.
And money laundering. That's why I honestly believe that now that the CEO has been appointed, he should really make it clear to the public on how he will govern and make sure that full transparency, accountability will really be expected by the public.
And of course, Joel Consing is respected in the business community. He has worked for the Aboitiz Group and also for the Razon Group. And he comes really highly recommended to lead this Maharlika Investment Corporation.
That's why we have high hopes that there will be clarity and direction as to how the investments will really be maximized.
But of course, once you start tweaking the implementing rules and regulations, Mon, doesn't this also open up the other aspects of the law to tweaking, to changing? Because before the law was signed by the president, there's really been a lot of opposition to including the pension funds, the Social Security system, and the GSIS using their funds in this Maharlika Investment Corporation. So what's likely to happen then?
Exactly, especially that one of the revisions made is in relation to the Audit Committee and the Risk Management Committee, disregarding the enumerated qualifications of the members and the responsibilities, and trusting the board to practically determine and define everything.
So what needs to be done? So there's checks and balances in where to invest the money and adding on these fund instruments that are not supposed to be in the Maharlika Investment Fund.
Yes, and also, if I may add, although there are penalties included in the bill or in the law, it's quite ironic that the penalties are only 20 million when they will be handling billions of pesos. And whoever will be taking advantage of it can definitely pay off right away those penalties if they intend to really defraud us.
Are we really attracting the American investors, the Japanese investors into this fund? Because the president basically promoted it during his trip during APEC in the US, and now he'll be going to Japan in December.
I want to believe that we are really getting attention or interest for the Maharlika Investment Fund, Rico. But let's not forget that there is a ongoing crisis. There are so many issues happening around, and it will really take so much luck and perseverance on our part to really get the attention of serious investors to put their money in Maharlika Investment Fund.
All right, let's now take a look at revenue raising
Yes.
for the government. I mean, we need the money.
Especially with the Maharlika Fund, we need more money.
We need more money to also pay off our debts.
Yes.
Our debts are now past 14 trillion pesos. That's an average of about 113,000 pesos for every Filipino.
Oh, well.
So your children's children will be indebted to local and foreign investors. And of course, the OECD is pushing for this digital tax.
Yes.
How will this help the government?
Well, I was the first one, Rico, who actually mentioned that to Congress, that instead of running after online sellers and the small MSMEs, why not consider or make sure that the tech giants like Facebook, Amazon will really give their share or pay income tax in the Philippines? Because right now, with the billions in dollars that they have generated, particularly or especially during COVID, not a single peso was paid to the Philippine government. So with the OECD inclusive framework that the Philippine government has signed already, meaning we are in agreement, we are supporting it, we are committing to legislate a law that will compel or require these tech giants, wherever they are registered, to declare and pay income tax to the Philippine government.
And how soon will this materialize?
Well, that's yet to be seen because right now there's still issue on the inconsistencies of the IRR of the CREATE law. So I just came from Senate this morning, and that is yet to be resolved. So I don't think this year that there will be a legislation.
But once that is resolved, Mon, how much can the government raise from this digital tax? How will it help the economy going forward?
What I can say, Rico, is OECD is projecting 200 billions in revenues from this agreement. So at least 1% of that is more than enough for the Philippines, rather than running after our online sellers. Not that they should be exempted, but we should really focus our resources where we will collect more revenues.
ACG and tax expert Mon Abrea, based in the US and now visiting us here in the Philippines. Thank you so much
Thank you, Rico.
for your insights.